Soleimani sir. Mr. Rajkumar completed his bachelor's degree in computer science engineering in ABC College and is currently the technical lead at Verizon, Chennai. He is an ardent public speaker who is experienced in front-end development. His thirst for knowledge has made him an expert in Angular and Ionic. He has also obtained a LinkedIn skill assessment badge on AngularJS. We are extremely delighted to have you on this platform, sir. The session is yours.
Thank you. So, first of all, sorry I was a bit late because I had some office meetings, so I couldn't join on time. So, let me share my screen. So, let me know once you can able to see my slide. So, hope it is visible to you.
Yes, sir, visible.
All right. Okay. So, we have actually we are going to discuss about MongoDB, right? So we have seen the DBMS concept for so long, right? So I'm just going to take few minutes to discuss why we need database, what is a DBMS, and then we are going to navigate into why MongoDB instead of using MySQL or any other relational database modeling. Okay, so without making further delay, let us get into this concept. So first of all, why DBMS, right? So we have seen a lot of applications every day. We are working towards a lot of applications in our day-to-day life, right? So starting from waking up till you're going to sleep, everything is made of softwares, right? So without sending good morning to our friends, we are not even going to brush. That's how our day is starting, right? So a man cannot live without computers and internet. So that's how the world is going on, right? So imagine the world without database. Okay, so when I say database, you need not to think in a technical way, but in a normal perspective. So from the early stages itself, we need to store information, because information is wealth, as we know, right? So a lot of movies we used to watch, right? So by hacking someone's information, we can do anything. So this is in this digital era, data is being considered as one of the most demanded asset in the world, right? So let's say, for example, so here we are around some 200 people, so all of your faculties. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect the database from the Ishwari College, right? So of all these people who are attending this event, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to sell this database. What is the use? There are many uses, because you guys are working professionals and few students may be in this session. So I can segregate it into two different databases. One is students and one is working professionals. For the students database, I can sell it to any project centers, stating that one student record is 50 rupees. Okay, so let's assume we have 50 students in this forum, in this meeting. So for 50 students, at least I'll be getting 2,500 rupees from a single project center, and I can able to sell this same database to 10 different project centers, and within 1 hour I can able to earn 25,000 rupees just with a database of students. And when I go to the professors database, I can able to sell this database to various organizations, maybe like loan oriented organizations, credit card oriented organizations, or any other office kind of things. A lot of organizations are providing, so a lot of institutions are providing PG diploma courses. A lot of institutions are providing various advanced courses. So I can able to sell this database to anyone in this world, and I can able to make millions of money just by having this 1 hour session with you guys. So that is how data can make us money. But the biggest problem for every one of us, at least for every Indians, I can say, is to organize our things, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just visit a bachelor's room one day on a Sunday. Then you will able to understand how hard it is for us, especially, to manage our things. So most of the times I used to sleep on my mobile. So I used to wake up and I'll search for my mobile, then my mobile will be under the pillow. So even the daily things, the things which I am using in my everyday activities, I cannot able to organize it. So you can take dresses, you can take your kitchen, you can take anything which you are using in your real life, you cannot able to organize it. So that is why we need to manage the things. So if you go to a library, you can able to pick your book easily only because it is arranged in a proper manner. So that's how it's working, right? Similarly, we are having information. The information can be of any kind. So hopefully I can ask you a few questions, right? So maybe if someone of you have an idea, what are the three types of data available? Through chat or through voice, you can able to reply. What are the three types of data we have? Physical, okay. So I'm not going in that way. So probably let's go in some different way. Yeah, I got few answers: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Yeah, that is the answer which I wanted. Great. So the first answer I got from Santosh. Okay, thank you, Santosh. So a lot of other people have shared the same. Yes, you're right. So data can be classified into three different types: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Okay. So some people might be thinking about what is these classifications, right? Let me tell you, structured data is nothing but the information which is arranged in rows and columns, means tables. Okay. So we used to store our information in tables. Let's say you will be managing your students database in your Excel sheet, or if you take it as physical, you will be storing it in your attendance book. Again, you will be seeing some tabular columns. So when you store the information in a structured way, it will be easy for us to pick the right information, and of course it will be easy to connect with each other. Okay, so if you have two Excel sheets, one is the students uh, personal records and another one is the student's mark record, just with the help of the register number you can able to track which student has scored how many marks. So that's how it is used. And we have semi-structured data. So semi-structured data, what does it mean? So any guesses for people? So what are the examples for these three types of data? I'm sorry, I used to ask a lot of questions. Okay, so generally semi-structured data, if I talk about the semi-structured data, yes, Srinivasan, I think he's a staff. So you gave the right answer. So XML based information or JSON object based information, those kind of object based informations or markup language based information, those things will come under the semi-structured data. And the third one is the unstructured data. Everything else, that can be your media files, that can be even the most trending thing which we use in our life. So if you ask the late 90s kids and if you ask the 2K kids, the first and foremost thing people will worry about is the hashtag, right? So if they go to Goa, they'll be putting a hash symbol and then they will write a tagline, enjoying the holidays. Then what is the use of this hash? So most of the people using this hash without even knowing why it is being used. But companies like Twitter and Facebook, kind of social media, are earning a lot with this hashtags which we are putting. We might be aware of this one. So some particular tagline, let's say welcome prime minister, let's say. So this welcome prime minister will be the tagline which is being trending among the whole world. We used to see this news every day, or at least once in a month, right? How these people are calculating this? See, if you write just welcome prime minister, that will be just considered as a sentence. But when you put a hash symbol before it, and if you type welcome prime minister without a space, that will be taken as a hashtag, and that hashtag will be easy for us to count. So people who post with similar hashtags will be counted, and based on that count, the social media will publish you which is the most trending topic people are discussing about. So that is also one of the unstructured data which we are talking about. Okay, so these are the various types of information we have in our daily life. And when you talk about the database, we will be mostly storing the information, the textual as well as the number informations. We used to store both the things inside your tables. But how can we store a number an image or a video inside a table? That is not possible, right? So we have a tabular structure. We can only save the text and number inside a table. Then I want to store some video files, or I want to store some audio files. What should I do? I should go to my server. I should create a folder. Inside the folder, I'll be pasting all my media files, and then the address of the media file will be in a alphanumeric code, right? So that address will be saved in the table. So that's how it is being used. So I just wanted to understand if there is any people here who have no knowledge or less knowledge in DBMS. Maybe if in that case I can go with some basics, or else we'll move on to DBMS, this MongoDB directly. Any people here who have less or limited knowledge in SQL or DBMS? If yes, please put a comment. If no, then you can leave it. Is my voice audible? So I believe my voice is still audible to people.
Yes, sir, audible. You can proceed, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. So before telling the people what is RDBMS, let me have these few points. Why should I prefer MongoDB over RDBMS? Okay. So because people have spent more money to learn DBMS, especially MySQL or Oracle kind of things. Okay. But if we take this MongoDB, again, it is a new database. The queries will be something different. Okay, so we learned a lot of things about this tables. We learned a lot of things about the DDL, DML queries, DCL, TCL queries, kind of things. We have learned a lot of stuff, but still we have to get into some new thing called as MongoDB. Why? Because without knowing the reason, we should not need to navigate to a new technology, right? Because all the companies are developing their own product, and all of them asking us to learn their technology. But why should I learn this? That will be the topmost question. That will be $1 million question, which comes in every people's mind. To answer that question, so MongoDB has few points. Why should we prefer MongoDB? The three major things which I take is the scalability of it, the flexibility of it, and the performance. Okay. So let us talk about the scalability part first. So when some 20 years back, when we use the database, we are not using the social media much, right? So we did not use more social media things. We did not use more uh, uh, YouTube, let's say. So we don't dump more data inside internet, because your internet itself is very slow. 20 years back, if you take the internet, it will work like Airtel today after 6 p.m, right? So most of the people would experience it. So if you try to access internet after 6 p.m, Airtel will kill you. So that's how it is working, right? So 20 years back, that's how the internet was. If you want to watch a video, or if you want to download a movie, let's say, at least you need to wait for 3 to 4 hours, right? In that time, people did not find a way to upload their data in internet more. So managing the database was not a big stuff. But if you take today, every one of us are having our data in internet. We feel that having our data in internet will be more portable, right? So we are not carrying pen drive anytime. So when you people were students, you might be carrying floppy disk. And when I was a student, I used to carry compact disk. And now students are not even carrying pen drives. They have everything in their Google Drive, and that's how they are proceeding. Right. So we forgot about every USB drives, every optical drives which we used earlier. So every data we used to dump into the database, and every data we want to use every day. And if you take social media, the number of Facebook accounts the world has is more than the number of people we have in the world. Means every person is having at least 2 to 3 Facebook profiles itself. Then think how hard it will be to proceed. So let me give you a comparison. Maybe you people can easily relate. Let me take 3 portals in the world. The first portal is Anna University website. Maybe I should not tell this name of an institution, but just for an example, I'm telling you. So the first example is Anna University website. The second example is IRCTC website, and the third website is Google search engine. On a Friday morning, on a Thursday morning, or on a Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, when we try to log into IRCTC portal, what will happen? And during the result of Anna University, when a student tries to log in and a student wants to see his result, what will happen? You cannot even enter into their portal. Yes, of course, server crash. So when you say server crash, when I was a student, I used to think like the system will bust like it is being shown in Hollywood movies. I took that word crash in some different way. But later on, I understood the crash is nothing but the program stopped working, or the program is still simply not responding. That's it. So, of course. So, the thing is, if you try to access multiple requests, if you try to access multiple data from a database, what happened? The server cannot able to interact with the database as much fast as possible, and which results in some slow connectivity and sometimes server crash. The server cannot able to capable of carrying multiple requests, multiple pending requests in the queue for long time, so that the crashing is occurring. And you may think like, what is the relationship between the server crash and the database? Let me tell you one thing. So let's assume we are in a supermarket and or we are in a grocery shop. 15 customers are waiting, and only one person or two person is trying to serve the products. If the products are in the reachable area, and if you can able to pick the products in instantly, then you can able to satisfy all the 15 customers still. But if you have the products in your storeroom, you need to go to your storeroom every time and you need to get a product. It will take much time, so that the customers will get irritated and they will go away, right? So you should always satisfy the customer with the right service using a server, and also the products should be reachable instantly. Similarly, the data has to be reached instantly. And even if you have millions of records in your system, you should be able to fetch the information very easily and effectively. And MongoDB is helping much. Let me tell you how it is working. Maybe this would be a most important point when you start learning about MongoDB. Generally, if you have a client server communication, all the client server communication happens with object, right? So you're going to send the data as an object, you're going to send your request as an object, and you're going to get the response as an object. But in normal SQL, you are storing the information as table, not as objects. So what a server program actually do, it fetch the information from the data table, and then it converts the table information into an object, and then only it will send it to client side. So that's why the time delay is happening. Instead of doing this, MongoDB is actually storing the information directly as an object format, and that is how it can able to interact with the client server very easily and very effectively. So that is why MongoDB is more scalable when comparison with the traditional RDBMS concepts which we use. So hope you got some idea how the scalability part works. Right? And second thing, the flexibility part. Okay, when I talk about the flexibility part, and maybe I can take my work as an example, so probably I can able to connect this easily. So you guys might have heard about agile methodology of working. So a lot of companies started moving from waterfall model to agile methodology, where we used to interact with the client every day. We used to update our work progress every day with the client. So even before the meeting, I had my stand-up call. So where I need to, what is object, why object? Maybe I will answer your question in the upcoming slide. So I have a slide separately for this. When that slide comes, I'll explain you, right? So please hold on for a few minutes. You will get your answer. Right. So let me come back to the thing which I was discussing. So the problem is, in waterfall model, the client used to give us the project, then the client will disappear for a few months, or even sometimes a few quarters. The client will be missing. After that, the client will come and they will ask for the status of the project. So when the client gives us the commitment, the project proposal, we need to design the database architecture. We used to call it as data model. Okay, so we will be designing the data model, and based on the data model only, the data will be stored, and we need to make all the relationships, right? So you might be heard about all the constraints, keys, primary key, foreign key, all these relationships between the data, all these stuffs we need to do. Based on that, the data model will be created, and that is how we will work. But if suddenly client comes after 3 months and client says like, no, this is not the data model which I want something new, means you should work entirely different data model, because you cannot simply edit your database anytime. Sometimes the expectation would be a little complex, and you cannot able to just convert your data model into another format, right? But MongoDB is based on documents, where you will be forming some embedded documents, like some subfiles you will be creating. So if I say subfiles, what you can assume is, you are opening your D colon. Inside your D colon, you are creating a folder called Rajkumar. Inside the Rajkumar, you have another folder called photos, videos, PowerPoints. So Rajkumar is a folder, and the photos, videos, and PowerPoints, this is the subfolders, right? Similarly, inside a particular file, we can have multiple other files. Okay, so in normal RDBMS, we'll be having tables. In MongoDB, we will be having the file called as bson. Okay, so if I talk about bson, you might be wondering what is bson. So to know about bson, we should know what is JSON, right? Anyone who has idea what is JSON? JSON. No idea? All right. So JSON is actually nothing but JavaScript object notation. Okay. It's JavaScript object notation. So that is called as JSON. Okay. What does it mean? It is like an object format where you can include arrays, the keys and values. It is a combination of keys and values. MongoDB is using bson, which is called as binary JSON. No, I'm not doing any coding. I'm just showing my PPT. Don't get confused. I will show that image later. All right. So MongoDB will be using the bson format that is very much similar to the JSON, because it is just the binary conversion of the JSON object. So that's how MongoDB is working. So as we are using this object format, it will be very easy for us to transfer the information. And the best part of MongoDB is no more joins, no more relationships. Okay, so join queries are one of the most toughest part of DBMS, right? Even when I was a student, I used to get less marks in join queries. People will always get confused when we talk about the join queries. So inner join, outer join, left outer, right outer, full outer. we will be getting confused. Oh my God, what does this means? But this MongoDB actually help you to get rid of these joins. And of course, the relationships, the weak relationship, strong relationship, easier relationship, has a relationship, these kind of things. So MongoDB get rid of all these stuffs. As it is storing the objects, you can able to interact with the objects directly and you can able to get the information, right? So that's how it works. And the third part is performance. If you understand the above 2 points, then the third point need not to be explained, right? When the scalability is improved, when the flexibility is improved, obviously the performance will be improved, right? So I'm not explaining the third point. So let us go to the next thing. What is MongoDB? So now only we are getting into the core part. Okay. So MongoDB is actually a cloud-oriented database. Okay, so previously we used to install MySQL or Oracle in our system, and then we'll be doing the coding. Then we need to deploy it in our server, and then only your server program will interact with the database. That's how we used to do. But MongoDB itself is a cloud-oriented database, which is a cross-platform. Cross-platform in the sense, MongoDB is accessible through any operating systems, right? So it is a cloud-oriented database where you will be creating a server, and inside the server only you will be creating your database, everything. So that itself will give you a convenience that you need not to find another time to deploy your database in the server. You can directly create the database in the server and you can directly work on it. But make sure you are not working in the production server, right? So you need to work in the development server, and then you can migrate that database to the production server, right? So these are the points you may need to take a notes, right? So MongoDB is actually a cross-platform, and it is a document-oriented database. When I say document-oriented, what you need to understand is, instead of tables, we are going to create files. Let's say you have notepad file, right? So similarly, you're going to create files. The file format will be of JSON. Okay, inside the file, you're going to store the information. So that's how it is going to work. So it is a document oriented database, right? And thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for the credits. So the next thing is, MongoDB works on the concept of collection and document. Okay, so if you wonder what is collection and what is document, let me explain you in the next slide. So instead of using tables, rows, columns, these words, we will be using some different words called as collection, document, field, kind of things. Okay, so I'll be explaining these things later. And this is the most interesting point which I loved. MongoDB is written in C++. Because I used to visit a lot of colleges. My students used to ask me, sir, technology is going in high time, but still you guys are explaining about C programming, C++. Why should I learn these things? Because with that C++ only, MongoDB itself has been developed, right? So I request all the professors here, please explain your students that C and C++ are the warriors, are the soldiers till the world exists. So I request every professors to explain this to your students, because students are very much passionate about Python programming, which is like Maggi noodles. You can prepare anything instantly, but nothing can beat C and C++. That is the parents, right? Okay. So MongoDB is an open source document database. When I say open source, you already know, like we already know, like MongoDB is a cross platform, so that anyone can take this code, anyone can able to access its source code, and they can able to change as per their convenient. Okay, yes, we are using MongoDB not only with Python. You can use MongoDB with any programming language in the world. Okay, so you can use Node.js, you can use uh, Java programming. With any programming language, we can able to use MongoDB. Especially MongoDB, people will use with either Python or Node.js. So if you talk about full stack development, right? So if you talk about full stack development, we will be using any front end language, any back end language, and any database. And there is something called as mean stack and MERN stack. So if you talk about mean stack and MERN stack, mean nothing but Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node.js, and MERN talks about Mongo, Express, React, and Node.js. Okay, so MongoDB is mostly used with these Node.js kind of programming also. So any technology is not limited with anything, any pairs. Okay, so they are like Tamil heroes. They can act with any heroines, right? So similarly, any database can interact with any programming languages. That's how it works, right? So it is a leading NoSQL database. So what do you mean by NoSQL is not only SQL. That's how it is being expanded. Okay, so you can do a lot of things with some queries which are not accessible in SQL. Okay, so we'll be having a lot of relationship oriented queries in SQL, but in NoSQL, the syntax, the format will be somewhat different, right? And this is the slide I was talking about. So this is just a comparison how MySQL is differing from MongoDB. Okay, so in MySQL we used to talk about database, and in MongoDB also the same database we are going to use. And in MySQL we used to call the database members as tables. Okay, so multiple tables uh, are combined to form a database, and multiple collections are combined to form a database in MongoDB, right? And indexing is same here. And if you talk about rows, we used to tell us document, and if you talk about column, we used to talk it as field. Okay, so every single person's record, let's say if you have a student database, every single person's record you will be talking as a row. And in MongoDB, for every person's record you will be creating a separate document, separate file will be created for every records you are entering into the database. Okay, and the column, okay, serial number, student name, student date of birth, student mobile number, all these columns will be having is, okay, so all these columns will be actually called as fields here. And the joins which we were talking about, there are no more joins here. Instead of joins, we'll be having embedded documents. So as I was talking about the sub files, right? So that sub files you can use as um, joins. Okay, and the primary key, we have the same primary key. And in SQL we'll be having the group by. Okay, for grouping few certain data will be having group by, and here we are using something called as aggregation. So these are the basic differences or basic comparisons between MongoDB and MySQL. Okay, so let us get into the query part, how the queries are being differentiated between MongoDB and MySQL. Okay, so let's take an insert query. So if you want to insert some data in your MySQL, you will be using this insert into the table name and the table fields with the values. That's how you will be passed, right? And in MongoDB, you will be using the command prompt only. Okay, so even though we have the IDE separately for MongoDB, we have some IDE called as Compass. Okay, so using the Compass IDE, you can able to write the queries, and you can create the database, everything. But if you create if you write the queries in command prompt, you can use this particular command, db.users.enter. That users is nothing but the collections name, right? So here it is table, here it is collection. So which current db you are having now, db dot that collection name dot insert, and which data you are going to pass. Okay, so if you look at this data format, this starts with a curly brace and ends with a curly brace, you can see here, right? And you have a key and a value. User id is the key, bcd001 is the value, age is the key, 45 is the value, status is the key, a is the value. So inside a curly brace, if you have keys and values, that is typically called as an object. So someone asked me like, what is object, right? So this is your answer. So someone which is inside a curly brace and having a key and value, which will be termed as an object, right? So hope you got a clear picture what is an object, right? Okay, so similarly we will be writing all the queries. Like for select query we will be using find. Okay, for update query we will be using the update function only. Okay, so this is somewhat like we will be if you want to if you are writing Java programming, maybe you people have basic idea about Java programming. So in Java programming, system.out.println, inside the system library, inside the output stream, you will be having the println function. So that's how inside the DB dot, inside the collection users dot, which particular query you want to process, whether it is an update query or whether it is an insert query or a find query or drop query, whichever you want to do, you can able to do, right? Hope it is clear till now. Any queries? I think I'm talking more stories, right? So that's how my teaching looks like, so please adjust. Okay, so if there is no queries, let me move on to the next slide. So these are all few queries or few commands we are using in MongoDB. So MongoDB is actually a CLI based language. Okay, yes sir, I'm trying for a practical also, but my system was not responding with MongoDB. I'm just trying for it, but still I have few screenshots which were already working, so I can share this screenshots, and probably I'll share this slide also with you, but let me try maximum to give you the practical session also. What is the use of multi-key in update query? So multi-key in the sense, what do you mean, Santosh? Could you please explain? Okay, let me come to this part later. Okay, so let me first tell you the installation. Can you go to the previous slide? Okay, yes, I have my previous slide. Oh, you're asking about this multi attribute. What does it mean? Is that you're asking, right? Okay, okay. So it is very simple. Whether you are going to update only a single value or whether you are going to update multiple values. Okay, so if you are updating multiple values simultaneously, you can give multi colon true, and if you are just updating single value and if you are not opting for multiple updates, you can make multi as false. You got it? Cool. Okay, so before getting into the practical part, let me give you the link to download the MongoDB. So let me post that in the chat box, so you can go to this link. Okay, so probably most of you will be Windows users, right? So if you are a Windows user, you can select the platform Windows in your drop down, and in any other operating system you want to download, you can select your operating system, and then you can able to download the latest version. So in my system I have Mongo 6.0.2, which is the latest version. So probably which latest version you want to get, you can take this. So probably you can copy this link and you can paste it in your notes or somewhere so that you can access it later. Okay, so the file will be around some 580 MB, I think. So you can download it and you can install in server mode. Okay, so because you are going to run MongoDB as a server, so it will ask you for local or server. You can select the server and then you can install it. Okay, so in that link itself you will be having the help sections, how to download all these stuffs. Okay, so you can able to get it, right? So you can able to download the MongoDB with this link, and once it is downloaded, how you can able to see is let me share my screen once. So you can open your command prompt. Okay, so you can type MongoD. When you type this MongoD, your server will be getting started. Okay, so this is the error I'm getting actually. So the server is not getting started properly. So you can see this port name. 27017. So MongoDB will be having the default port number as 27017. Okay, so if you want to change that, you can go to the configuration of MongoDB and you can change, but default port number would be 27017. Okay, and once the server started, then you can go to another command and you can just give Mongo. But in my system it is not working right now, I don't know why. Okay, so probably I can show you the screenshots which I have, right? Yes, it is. So what you should do is, once you install MongoDB, then go to your C colon, go to the program files, and in the program files you will be having the MongoDB folder, this here. And inside MongoDB folder you can able to see the server folder, right? So open the server folder, open the version which you have, and open the bin. So copy this bin folder here. Okay, right click your my computer or this PC, go to properties and go to the advanced system settings. You can able to see environment variables here, right? Go to the path, click edit, and here you can give, here you can give new and you can able to add that particular path. So I have already added the path. Okay, so let me delete the path, let me do it again. So watch it carefully. Okay, so I'm opening my computer, I'm going to this PC, C colon, program files, MongoDB, server folder, version number, and inside that bin folder, just copy this URL, right click on your this PC, click on properties and click on the advanced system settings, click on environment variables, click on the path, click edit and click new, paste the URL, give OK and OK, and that's it. Your environment is set now. So hope these steps are clear for you, right? So after doing this, you should be able to run the command. Okay, so unfortunately it is not running for me, I need to check why it is not running, but let me share show you the screenshots. So once it is done, again the next step you need to do is open your this PC, open your C colon. Inside the C colon you have to create a folder called data. Okay, I created a folder called data here. Inside the data folder you need to create a folder called DB. Okay, once that folder is created, then these files will be coming automatically. Once you run the MongoDB code, these files will come automatically. Okay, so these two steps you need to do for installing the MongoDB. Okay, and then let me show you the queries for creating a database, all these stuffs. Okay, so if you want to check the database list, if you have number of database in your computer, if you want to check all the databases, you can just give show space DBS. After typing Mongo, you will be seeing this greater than symbol. Okay, so if you type DB, it will show you in which database you are currently in. And if you want to check what are the available databases, you will be typing show space DBS, right? Just give me a second. And this would be the syntax, or this would be the structure of your document. Okay, so inside your document you will be having various attributes. Okay, so I said every fields are every inputs are a field, right? So which is similar to JSON, which I dictated already, right? So this is how your document will look like. And inside a collection, that means which is equivalent to table, right? Inside a collection, you can have multiple documents. So all multiple documents will form a collection, multiple collections will form a database. So that's how it works. So I hope it is clear as of now. So to create a collection, you have to give a command db dot create collection. So to make a note of it, every functions, okay, so every functions we are using inside MongoDB, that should be written in camel case, because MongoDB is a case sensitive language. You need to write everything in a camel case. What is camel case is, if you have multiple words, create collection is a multiple word, so the first word, first letter should be small, and all other words first letter should be capital. So that's what camel case means. Okay. So this is how you should create. Okay, so then you just type show space collections. You can able to see what are the collections which are available in your database. Okay, so you may get a confusion, like when you create a database and when you type show dbs, your database will not be visible. Why? Because your database will be empty by default. Your show dbs command will not look into the empty database, so you will not see that. So don't get confused. Once you add a collection, then you can able to see your database inside the dbs query, right? And these are all various conditions where we can able to use here. Okay, so in rdbms we will be using where queries, right? So like where my word is tutorials point, so instead of this we can write the same in object format. Okay, inside curly brace by colon tutorials point, or likes colon, whichever you want to give. Okay, so you might be wondering what is this $LT, all these stuffs means. I will show you. I have the expansions for everything. I will show you that. Okay, so all these comparisons will be can be captured here. So I can share you this PPT with you right away. I don't know whether file can be shared here. So probably let me leave my email ID at the end. So if you need this PPT, you can just ping me. Let me send you the email PPT. Okay. So let's say I have my document. So inside my document, I can link another document. For this name Prashant, I'm attaching another sub document, embedded document, phone. Okay. So this is another object which is embedded into this particular record. So that's how the linking will be made, right? Okay, so now let us talk about the various basic operations which we can able to do with MongoDB. Okay, so look at the command prompt. So we have few operations which are listed in the left side, and we have the command prompt in the right side. Let me explain how it works. So if you type the command db, okay, that will show you what are the various data, what current database you are in. So currently I'm in test, so it is showing test. And if I type show space dbs, it will be showing me the list of databases available. If you look here, you cannot able to find test. Okay, you may wonder why test is not here, but the answer is the test database is an empty database, and that is why it is not being shown here. So we need not to worry about that. Once you add a collection, you can able to see. Okay, so if you go to another database, okay, so you are in test database now and you want to go to admin database now, just type use space admin, use space which database you want to go, then it will move to db admin. So that particular database we navigated to. Then if you type the db command, you can able to see your current database is admin. And next we are going to create a db mydb. Okay, so use space mydb. Okay, if you type db, you can able to see your mydb, but if you see show dbs, you cannot able to find your mydb here. Why? Because mydb is empty. So that's why you cannot able to see your mydb here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a collection. So is it fine if I take some 5 more minutes now?
Yes, sir, you can take your time, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So now my database is empty, so it is not visible here. So I am going to create a collection. So how to create a collection? It's very simple. db dot create collection. As I said before, that must be in a camel case, and inside the function bracket you should pass the collection name as a parameter. So when I say collection, you should understand it is a table. All right, so once you give this command, you will be getting a success message like this in object format. Okay, and then if you type show collections, you can able to see what are the collections you have created, right? And again, I'm creating a collection called products. And now if I type show collections, I can able to see all the various collections which are available inside the MyDB. You got it, right? Then I want to drop a collection. I don't want to have a collection anymore. I want to drop this particular users. So just compare this with your JavaScript knowledge. In JavaScript, if I want to change property of a particular ID, what I should do? Document dot get element by ID of that particular ID dot style dot color equal red. That's how we will be doing, right? Similarly, here db dot get collection of which collection I am going to work on, that particular collection I'm getting, and then what operation I'm going to perform. I'm going to perform drop operation. So I'm giving drop, and when I give enter, I can able to see this success message true. And then if I give the show collections, then I can able to see this products, because user is already deleted. And if I want to drop the complete database, then again it is very simple. Just give db dot drop database, then MyDB is dropped. But again, if you type db, this may come, so don't get confused. It will not be available anymore in your show dbs. Okay, so these are all the various screenshots which I had. Okay, so let me conclude the session with this quotation. So from Walt Disney, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So thank you all. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your interaction. So hope you got few ideas about MongoDB. So you can get in touch with me through LinkedIn or email anytime. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for this informative session. Participants, please make sure to fill back the feedback form that is sent in your groups and in the chat. And tomorrow's session is on AutoML by Dr. Shimona Gracia Jacob. This session, please kindly note that there is a change in timings for tomorrow's session. It will be from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Please make sure to attend the session. I'd like to conclude this session with a word of thanks. We are delighted to have you, sir, Mr. Rajkumar, with us today, and thank you for this informative session. We'd also like to convey our thankfulness for accepting our invitation and providing support and knowledge on this MongoDB. We thank you very much, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us. I'd also like to thank all of our participants for taking advantage of this session. Hope this helped you a lot. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you all. I'm leaving for the day. We'll catch you later.
Thank you, sir.
Accepting the invite with your tight schedule, you would have been joined and given the wonderful lecture with us, the demo session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. My pleasure.